it's Miss Natalie. Welcome back to my channel. Before we begin, hit that subscribe button below so you can get alerts when I come out with a new video every Tuesday. Elementary school teachers are supposed to love Dr. Seuss books. We even have a special holiday to celebrate his birthday because Dr. Seuss really impacted the world of literature. But I have a dirty little secret, and that is that I have quite a few Dr. Seuss books that really annoy me and I do not like. So I'm gonna go through a few today and tell you what I like about them and let you know why some of them really bug me. I want to give a special thank you to the teacher that retired and left me all of these fabulous books. These are pretty old copies of Dr. Seuss books. You can see some of them are even taped up, but I just love them, and it's beautiful to know how many kids have thumbed through these books and enjoyed them over the years. First up, this is a real love and hate Dr. Seuss book, Green Eggs and Ham. Green Eggs and Ham is a whopping 62 pages long, and as you can imagine, a favorite book of students and one that I really don't like reading out loud. Dr. Seuss was a very wordy person, very creative, but his books are endless. So when the kids want me to read this out loud every year, I feel relieved because there are only 50 words in this book. This is a really special book because kids typically are able to read some or all of those 50 words. Instead of reading all 62 pages by myself, I put the kids to it. I'll start them off for the first few to help cue them on some of these sight words inside. But because there's only 50 words, they repeat the same things again and again. And eventually I stop reading and they read the whole thing to me. So you can see it's really simple. That Sam I am, that Sam I am, I do not like that Sam I am. And these are words that you will find on any kindergarten or first grade sight word list. I get a break with that, but really this book irks me because I do not think it has survived the era that it was written and come into the world that we live now, which cares a lot more about people's individual feelings, opinions, and state of being. If I came to my therapist with the problem that poor Sam I am is having in this book, my therapist would tell me to drop Sam I am as a friend. This poor little creature here is being harassed because he won't eat some nasty, moldy green eggs and ham. He spends the entire book explaining why this is a boundary, that he does not want to eat these green eggs and ham, and he just pushes and pushes and pushes. I think it is a very old school lesson that after 62 pages, the poor guy finally tries green eggs and ham and has to begrudgingly tell him, "Oh, I guess I do like green eggs and ham. Will you finally leave me alone now?" So every year when I finish this book, I find myself rewriting the little moral at the end, like, if you're bugging somebody and they're telling you to stop, stop. Would we act like Sam I am in this book? There's two sides for me with this. I love that the kids can read it, and I absolutely hate the message that this book sends. Next up, One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish. This is a book that I've hated since I was a child. I remember reading this book in first grade. I got really, really into Dr. Seuss books because the first book that I ever read on my own was the Foot book. I remember being so proud of it, and I think my parents went ahead and bought me a lot more Dr. Seuss books. One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish seemed like it was gonna be an instant hit. I loved colors, I loved the beach, seemed like it would be a great beach read for a 6-year-old. Well, we start off with One Fish, Two Fish, Red Fish, Blue Fish. And we go, this one's got a little star on its tummy. This one's got a car. Okay, we're rhyming, we're rhyming. Some are sad, we're glad. Some are bad. Don't slap your fish now, okay? You can't do that in 2021. But then it takes a turn. One has a hat, and then we go here and there. And ladies and gentlemen, we've left the ocean. Now there's creatures. And now there's, who are these guys? These aren't fish. What is this, Noah's Ark? And now we're flying, and I remember getting to write about here as a kid and being like, I thought this was a fish book. What is going on? Now we're counting fingers. This book is ludicrous. There's no plot to it. All it does is just rhyme a lot of words. I mean, now there's sheep. What are those, sheep? Even as a 6-year-old, I just remember having no time for this book. This book ends after a whopping 62 pages of nonsense. Green eggs and a ham, this has a plot. I'll take it. One fish tooth, get out of here. I don't like that book. The next book that I want to talk about is Fox in Socks. This is a really fun rhyming book, and I actually happen to like Fox in Socks because it has a plot. It's about a little fox, and he's got socks on, and makes a fun debate with the kids. Are those actually mittens? I don't know, but you can talk about writer's choice because it does rhyme, doesn't it? Fox in Socks, he goes on a nice adventure. This is a great book to talk about the role of letter X. Letter X is sort of the underdog of letters because it doesn't start a lot of things, but it ends a ton of words, as Dr. Seuss will tell you. So this is a fun book to root on letter X and talk about how it also is the KS sound. Mr. Fox in Socks, I will say, is also pretty long-winded, which is a general pet peeve of Dr. Seuss books for me because at 61 pages, I feel pretty exhausted after reading it. So this is one that a lot of times we'll split over a few days. I'll do it as a warm-up and we'll read, 10 or so pages. I guess even more than that because of over a week of warm-ups. Oh my gosh. Dr. Seuss, you're a little long-winded, but man, you are clever. And finally, to round out my Dr. Seuss review, we have the most famous of all, The Cat in the Hat. This is a classic, of course. I actually really do like The Cat in the Hat, and I don't mean to be so negative. I do mean to be so negative about the other ones, because I think it's healthy to hate certain things. This one, I'm seeing a trend as my fourth book. This one's also 61 pages, so everything I've shown you, 61 or 62. Why did he settle on that? Was there some sort of deal with the publisher to make your books obnoxiously long? The premise of this book is that two children that seem pretty young were left completely alone as their mom went and did some errands. Published in 1957, I guess that was appropriate just to abandon your children while you went to Target or the market or whatever they did back then. The children, being good children of course, just sit alone at the window longing for their mom to come back. I want to point out here, there's some really fun text formation here. So when I'm teaching a book like this, I'll talk about creative choices when you're writing. But again, they're sitting alone, they're doing nothing, they're being good, and their babysitter is a fish. Unfortunately, there are crooks and robbers and cats and hats around that will break into homes when mommy's gone. And that's exactly what happens. A strange man, a cat, breaks into the house and tells them, let's have some fun. This goes against all logic and warnings that we have given our children today, but let's just go with it. It's Dr. Seuss. The guy had no rules. So after completely destroying the house, the fish, poor fish, I don't know how it survived this story. They've got things running around with kites. They've got, they're destroying the house. Isn't the rule stay out of mom's closet? Like, don't touch the couture. Anyway, by the time we get to the end, they miraculously clean up. They are sweet children, aren't they? They clean up the house, and they're still sitting in the window as mom comes in her fabulous high heels. Look at those. I wish I owned shoes like that. And mom is like, did you have any fun? What did you do? And it leaves the children with a wonderful moral question. Should we tell her about it? Now, what should we do? Well, what would you do if your mother asked you? I love that instead of leaving us on a complete moral confusion like Green Eggs and Ham does, it asks us, is this okay? Are we gonna lie to our mom? Are we gonna tell her what happened? Are we gonna tell her that a total stranger destroyed our home? Leads to kind of an interesting philosophical conversation with the kids on what is a white lie and what's a good fib, what's a bad fib, should we lie ever? Some of the kids get really passionate. It's very interesting to see what they would say and hear them grovel between what is reality and what is fiction. Thanks for watching. That is my Dr. Seuss book review. Make sure that you have subscribed below, and I will see you next week. Bye.